Sorry to keep you waiting. Complicated business. But bro, I don't know about you, but was the sun shining a little bit brighter today? Were the birds chirping just a little bit sweeter? And were smiles just a little bit brighter today? I don't know about you, but that's my experience on the day. That's why we're a little late in the evening, but hey, if you're watching this in the morning, does it really matter when we got around to sussing out the numbers? Because the longer we wait, the better they get. A historic victory, a landslide victory, the most comprehensive ass-kicking of my lifetime. Okay, I wasn't around for 88 when Dukakis got put through the ringer, okay? I wasn't around for Reagan Mondale before that, and I definitely wasn't around for old Tricky Dick sticking it to McGovern. This right here, this is going to go down. Not just as many people are putting, a lot of people say that it's the greatest political comeback of all time. I don't say that. A lot of people say that, but no, we'll go ahead and suss out the numbers because for all intents and purposes, that's exactly what this is, bro, okay? And like I said yesterday when we were going through all of the pregame stuff, there's reports of a gas leak. Oh, there's the voting machines that went out. Ultimately, at the end of the day, it really didn't matter, but it was such a real roller coaster, man, watching those election results come in. And I was bouncing between a couple of different streams, and I seen that a lot of people were doing a lot of great business last night, and great on them. A bunch of good content was out there because it was very reminiscent, man. Like there was moments there where it was like, oh my God, are we going through 2020 again? And then there were some other moments where it's like, no, this is 2016. Oh my God, he just won again. And I'll go ahead and say this first and foremost. It's like, even when the call was made by Fox News at 1:30 my time, just about, I guess, no, that was when Trump was done speaking. But I think the call from Fox News was made 11:30 my time, 1:30 out east, and Trump ended up taking the stage in on and around midnight my time, 2 o'clock out east. And then he went on stage and had a very nice, very congratulatory speech, not just for himself, but for everybody that was up there. But we'll go through the paces on that one, because something that I unfortunately didn't bring up, and let's just talk about the covers that went out last night after the call was put out there for the world to see, after Pennsylvania fell, and then finally Wisconsin went through it, and I had to wake up in the morning to see that, oh yeah, Michigan, even though we knew, at least by the time that I went to bed and Trump had already made his speech, it's like, it's 5 points, it's not going anywhere, why doesn't anybody make the call? And still, even when Trump was making his speech, like, he had CNN and MSDNC out there just running their mouth saying, oh, Trump's just addressing his supporters, don't take this as a victory speech. It's like, bro, come on now, how much more obvious, right? How much more obvious was this election and the results that were coming in? It's like, we could see what was going on. There were insurmountable leads. Hell, even Brad Raffensperger, Secretary of State in Georgia, the impetus for the investigation and Fani Willis's nonsense down there in the Peach State, that goof out there coming forward to the podium and going, Trump's lead's insurmountable. Why isn't anybody called this? It was so obvious that the media was trying to wring every last red cent out of all of their big pharma advertiser dollars, because they know after this, the political landscape once again is going to be fundamentally flipped. We're never going to have this situation again. We're never going to have another Trump. There are no more MAGA rallies. It's going to be a completely and totally different landscape. I don't expect the Democrats to learn anything from this. Ultimately, from everything that we've seen, and I think going into the weekend, I'm going to be compiling a bunch of the different breakdowns. So maybe on Friday or Saturday, you guys are going to see a video where we'll go through the spurgouts. But as of right now, I just want to go through the numbers to see what exactly the Democrat establishment could learn. But in actuality, they're just going to continue to double down on the dumb stuff that didn't win at all whatsoever. I mean, you hinge your entire campaign on killing babies. You hinge your entire campaign on also transitioning those kids that you don't kill inside the womb. And you know what? At the end of the day, this was an NBC exit poll, by the way, okay? Polling a super sample of their Dem supporters and what were their top issues. What were they down there at the polls voting for? Number 1, the economy. Totally makes sense. Number 2, the border. Of course, obviously, that impacts everyone. And then number 3, with a bullet, or I guess a vacuum cleaner and some snips. That was abortion at 14%. 14%. Imagine that. Maybe baby murder on a wide scale isn't as popular as you thought it was. Maybe all of those big brains from the 2022 midterm elections who thought, oh, I guess that abortion is overturning Roe v. Wade, or that was a big thing. No, you know what you'll learn from this election right here to compare and contrast that with 2022? When Trump isn't on the ballot, Republicans get beat. And what did Democrats learn? What should they learn from this election, even though they won't? If you guys don't have good, high-quality candidates, people aren't going to turn out. That's what the Republicans learned from the midterm, and that's the tough pill to swallow for the Democrats moving forward, because there's an obvious way that they can shape their party moving forward. They're not going to. They're not going to, especially what we're seeing right now. Let's just take the rest of this week, man, because there's going to be some tremendous spurg outs, and let's just have a little victory lap, okay? Winners don't celebrate for too long. But can you at least grant us 24 hours? Can we at least get that? Okay, that's what I thought. You had the New York Post put out their front page. I seen that, yeah, right at the time Trump was making his announcement. What a beautiful sight to see. I concur on that one. But hey, I don't know, man. Like, this also leads me to believe that the media is going to be just as spurgy as your regular old shit libs, because Vanity Fair really thinks that they're sticking it to Trump by posting one of the most badass covers that you're likely to ever see. 34 felony counts, 1 conviction, 2 cases pending, 2 impeachments, 6 bankruptcies, 4 more years. The 47th American president. It's like, yeah, why'd you have to make that badass, bro? The only way that could go even harder, by slapping his mugshot on there. It's going to be so depressing for a lot of those spurgs November 26th, when sentencing in New York is supposed to happen for the Alvin Bragg case. Yeah, they're going to be big upset next week when a federal appeals court comes in and overturns that decision. You bet your ass. I have no inside track on that. I'm not referencing anything. I'm just thinking it's like, it was obviously getting overturned. It was already a faulty case to begin with. It is based on absolutely nothing. It was decided using some of the most insane, batshit nuts methodology possible. And those felony counts are normally charged as misdemeanors. Bro, it's going to get overturned. Alvin Bragg is going to refuse to pursue it because you can't really go after the sitting president now, and that case is just going to fade away to pending cases. Oh, right. Yeah, what was that about Jack Smith, all of his stuff? Yeah, that's going away. Georgia, the exact same thing. It was all a sham. It got exposed. Fucking deal with it, bro. Because that's even the opinion of the outgoing administration. I missed this one, first and foremost, okay? I seen the picture that was out there, but yesterday, your boy was barely hanging on making that video, but it's so weird, right? Because I went to bed last night, okay? I went to bed last night, and that was, of course, after, seeing the great and tremendous, the best victory, the biggest victory ever. A lot of people are saying it's very, very inspirational, but I missed a few things. And one of those things was pointing out that Jill Biden leaving the voting booth, the last time that we would actually see a Biden out in public for the entire day. I don't even know if Joe's said anything on the day, in fact. It's very interesting to see. But the only picture that you see for a politically savvy individual, such as Jill Biden, somebody who has been lauded throughout the entire Biden administration, which is going to go down as one of the most inconsequential and totally forgotten presidencies of all time. It's crazy, right? But Jill Biden was this fashion icon, and she decides on election day to wear a MAGA red pantsuit. Bro, I mean, you might end up leaning a little bit more into that conspiracy theory that maybe Joe Biden was purposefully tanking that Kamala campaign. Maybe he was pushed out of his own decision, but what was supposed to be at the benefit of the party. I don't know, man. Not entirely sure, because then you got on the night going over to Kamala HQ at Howard University, at her alma mater, at the one place where she had a decisive victory in Washington, D.C. And there were multiple videos, there were multiple pictures of that coming out even before the announcement on the night that really switched it for me and a lot of people from being, the way that these results are coming in, bro, it's really seeming like 2020. It's taken forever to get an update, okay? We see these giant leads, man. When is that F curve gonna show up? And then you start to get those 2016 reminiscent videos coming out where you see a lot of long faces and people leaving the place. And it's funny, right? Like, I don't have it pulled up or anything like that, but after it was all blown out, right? And then you have Kamala Harris's a co-chair come out. I forget who this goofy guy is, but he comes out and he says, yeah, everybody, it's going to be a long night. Actually, we'll go ahead and play the clip here. Okay, we got 37 seconds of it, and I think that we can go ahead and do that service. I didn't want to, inundate you guys with clips today. We got so much more spurging to come out very shortly, but this one, to give it proper context, and yeah, we'll just walk you through on this.
We still have votes to count. We still have states that have not been called yet. We will continue overnight to fight to make sure that every vote is counted, that every voice has spoken. So you won't hear from the Vice President tonight, but you will hear from her tomorrow. She will be back here tomorrow to address not only the HU family, not only to address her supporters, but to address the nation.
That was right there. That was the moment where it was like, oh my God, this is like Pizzagate Podesta coming out on the stage and saying that Hillary Clinton isn't going to be addressing the public. She is, in fact, going to be turning in for the night. And it was a lot more understandable back in 2016 when we didn't get a result until like 4 o'clock in the morning. This was like midnight, 12:30. She made this announcement and it's like, what? No ballots are like, nobody's going home. Okay, everybody's sticking around, everybody's counting. It's like, we're gonna be getting a result, we're gonna have states called here real shortly. And it was funny, after that announcement was made that she's not gonna be coming out, she's gonna be Hillary Clinton 2.0, probably because she was blitzed on box wine and she was throwing shit everywhere. It was, I do believe, if I recall correctly, it was within the hour Pennsylvania got called. Oh shit. And then not long after that, Fox News calls Wisconsin, and she's a wrap, bro. So it was like, oh God, that was the moment right there, at least for me, when it went to, it's like, this is 2016. But it was really strange, right? Like, okay, even at that moment when I knew, it's like, Trump's won. Like, he's going to be 47, okay? The prophecy has been fulfilled, my hats, unless, of course, they pull something goofy, but we can talk about that later. But, all of the hats, man, like, all the hats, they're going to be accurate, okay? Trump's going to be 47, but even still, it didn't sink in. It didn't sink in until Trump hit that stage a little over an hour later, and then it's like, it just shows you right there, this isn't the same Trump. I'm so glad. Not that 2020 happened, okay? Not that 2020 happened, because that was a terrible time, and these past 4 years are verifiably, okay, and irrefutably worse off for the entire world. We're all worse people for what they did in 2020, which at this point in time, now that we have some numbers out there, I think we can confidently say that 2020 was stolen. How about that? Yeah, no. I said it before. I'll say it again. Now, because YouTube wants to loosen up on things, I mean, like, come on, man. Once we get through those numbers, it's like, how can you let your eyes deceive you any further? But to just see Trump get up on that stage, not by himself, not just with his family, but with Dana White, and then calling out Bryson DeChambeau, giving a lot of time and telling my favorite rocket story, how he caught the launch rocket with the little arms, and it was the most incredible thing. And I had somebody on the phone, and I put them off to the side. And Trump was in full campaign mode when he was out there giving his victory speech. It was very endearing, and it was very much like, this is an authentic man having an authentic moment, knowing that he won and know that there's a lot of work to do, but he's set up for the job. But him bringing everybody out on stage lets you know that they learned, even though they were wronged in 2020, they learned that they have to go ahead. They have to change the page. They got to switch things up a little bit in order to appeal to more people. Can't just simply whine, bitch, moan, and complain about what happened 4 years ago. They got to look forward to the future. They got to make those changes. They got to put better people around them. Sans Ivanka and Jared, if they were just not on the stage, everything would be better. It's like, Ivanka, okay, your dad's color is red, and you show up in a polyester blue suit. Like, what the hell are you doing? Thank God you're going to be sitting on the sidelines, and we've got the likes of J.D. Vance, Vivek Ramaswamy, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., Tulsi Gabbard, and yes, of course, the aforementioned Elon Musk and Dana White up on stage, given a fire soundbite, which, if you want to watch, and if you didn't watch the victory speech, I mean, like, pretty much everybody's watched it at this point in time, but just Dana's ferocity off the cuff, it's like, that's why he's the best head of any professional sports league out there, and honestly, one of the most genuine, authentic people that are out there. I've had a lot of respect for Dana for a long time, even though I've kind of waffled on the UFC's quality in recent years. I used to be a big fan, kind kind of fell off. But when it comes to respect for Dana White, the way that he just carried that entire company through the government response to a common cold, nobody else did it. Nobody else could have done it. And the fact that he's so linked to Trump, and if he's doing anything for this administration, bro, if they walk the talk the way that they did in the first administration, with Trump having lesser individuals around him and he keeps it 100 this time around, there's some great things to come. I'm super excited. But even still, I seen this on stage and it's like, okay, it's becoming a little bit more real, but it wasn't until I woke up this morning, and I don't want to get too terribly dramatic or anything like that. But like I said, it's like, the past couple of months have been a little bit rough and I've been running ragged. But this is one of those times where, Trump ended up wrapping up his speech about 1:30 my time. I watched a couple of other things. I went to bed and I slept completely through the night. And it wasn't until I woke up this morning and it's like, wow, that was real. Trump won. Holy shit. And then the entire day, and I haven't stopped smiling, man. Like, it's really incredible. I'm like so many other people that are out there. It's different this time around, man. It's different this time around because it took Kamala Harris until 4 o'clock Eastern time to get herself together to warble out some totally and completely forgettable 10-minute speech or something like that, where she did formally concede. And there was some speculation on the night, and Trump didn't even mention it in his victory speech, that he spoke with Kamala. There were some rumors running around that Kamala had made the call last night, but it wasn't until during Kamala's speech where she came out and said, I talked with the president-elect earlier today. Now, does that necessarily mean last night, because that was technically earlier today, or does that mean a couple of hours ago? I would tend to believe that it was the latter, but I don't know. I don't care. She gave up. It's an open pathway that I'm sure 100%. And if we were going to take the media's position on this, if we were going to go ahead and hold a Kamala speech to the same standard that the media holds a Trump to his, she used an awful lot. Okay, she used the term fight an awful lot. Don't give up the fight. Keep on fighting. To me, kind of sounds like insurrectionist terms, okay? I would say that she's out there trying to incite violence. Would you go ahead and denounce any actions that could be taken by any one of your followers, Kamala? No. Nobody's going to do that. And frankly, that entire speech, there's a reason I don't have it pulled up. And the reason that they have that side by side, mostly because it was the exact same playbook. It all played out the exact same way. Choice of dress I've always thought was interesting because, Hillary had the little swatches of purple on her lapels and then her undershirt, hoping that eventually she would end up sparking a move towards the Democrat Party. When she eventually tried again, which, shucks, once again, just like the way End Wokeness has us captioned, Trump saved us twice. She's not going to get another shot. Kamala Harris, as forgettable as her speech was earlier today, it pales in comparison to her overall political career because, bro, it's over. It's done. It's dusted. I don't even know if we hear from this cackling old whore ever again. Like, she's done. She's absolutely done. She lost, not just in a landslide, in one of the most thorough ass kickings I have ever witnessed in my lifetime. And as many people have pointed out, and I thought that could be one of the bonuses that was out there. I thought, you know what? I heard some things that New Mexico was in play. Don't really think that's going to end up being the case. Ultimately, didn't end up being the case. Virginia, there's some rumblings that are out there, but Northern Virginia, it's the suburbs of DC. It's going to be a tough one. That one was. It was called early by Decision Desk HQ, and then was eventually retracted. And it's like, okay, that kind of makes sense. And it's like, we'll see how more of the vote ends up playing out. No, ultimately it goes Democrat. Oh, well, whatever, man. And it's like, that's what happens. But the one bonus that was out there that I thought, ooh, there's an outside shot. Ooh, there's a lot of reliable pollsters saying that, it's in play. But the popular vote, brother, that's not even an accurate assessment at this point in time because Trump has overperformed his numbers from 2020, okay? And when everything's all said and done, he's going to end up winning the popular vote by a greater margin than Hillary Clinton won in 2016. It is a thorough and complete refutation of Democrat tyranny over the past 4 years, of all of those woke policies that nobody outside of a very small echo chamber of individuals likes or appreciates. They don't want this trans shit. They don't want abortion. Nonsense. Repackaged as women's rights because regular, smart, intelligent people see through this shit as plain as day. They're tired of your overreach. They remembered the last 4 years, not just the past 107 days I had on the campaign trail. They remembered you doing nothing for the other 1,000+ days you were the vice president, not taking care of the southern border, trying to force a jab mandate on the entire country, standing idly by as you botched a withdrawal from Afghanistan, leaving 13 armed service members dead at Kabul airport, starting a war in Ukraine, and funding it to the tune of how many billions at this point in time? Everybody has lost count. Also facilitating another war, putting more boots on the ground in the Middle East. That's on you guys. And you got shown the door swiftly and thoroughly, because check this out. And they don't even have Arizona and Nevada called, but at this point in time, it's like, bro, it's like Nevada's pretty much done and dusted because everything that we have here, okay? Georgia going back to Trump by 1.8 points with 99% in is a tremendous. Michigan waking up this morning thinking that I don't really think we're going to have a 2020 situation, and no, that wasn't the case at all. Trump was up at one point in time by like 5 points. He ends up winning the state by 1.6. Bro, amazing. Huge victory, okay? And then, like I said before, Nevada, I was like, just call the shit, bro. He's already up. He's still up. It hasn't changed at all whatsoever from when I first checked it out this morning. Right now, this evening, 4.8 points. He's been hovering around 5 since last night, for Christ's sakes. Just call the shit. He's got the 4 points in the bag. When it's all said and done, right? Like, it's 295 at this point in time. It's going to end up at 312. He got 307. I think it was 307 back in 2016. It's a bigger victory. It's a greater victory. It's a huge victory. It's the greatest political comeback of all time. And yeah, just a special stupid shout out to Arizona. 68% of the vote. Look at everything else that's out there. Okay, the only other thing that's close I think I seen was Alaska. Yeah, and they've even got a bigger percentage of the vote in, and they got to pull that shit on fucking sled dogs, and they got to get a ballot cured for the Yeti in order to get everybody's vote counted on that one. They've got more of the vote tabulated than goddamn Arizona, and that one's very interesting. And yeah, once that gets closer, and perhaps I'll end up doing a specific video on that, but it kind of looks like, okay, and specifically the Senate race right there, Carrie Lake and Ruben Gallego. The way that the outstanding vote is at this point in time, Carrie Lake has a very good chance. There were some GOP insiders earlier today going, better than not chance that she could end up pulling this stuff out, okay? Don't let the polls, okay, the early polls that were out there saying that there's like, Gallego's got this by like, 7 points. Arizona's going to have 2 Democrat senators. I don't know, man. Still could very much end up being the case, but not so much. We'll have to look at Arizona once it gets closer, but bro, it's obviously for Trump inconsequential. He's already got the 270, okay? He's already 25 points over the top. And to take a look at some of these margins, this is what makes this the most thorough ass kicking of my lifetime. I mean, probably the most clear and obvious examples are just the Democrat victories. Okay, the Democrat victories. New Jersey. Okay, Harris cleared Jersey by 5 points. Compare and contrast that to Biden, and bro, it's unreal. Okay, so yeah, we got the old numbers pulled up. Biden won Jersey by 19.5 points. Clinton 12.8. Harris 9 points. 9 points. Oh yeah. And what about that purplification of Texas? Trump won it by 14 goddamn points. 14 points, bro. What the hell? But a specific shout out to Florida, and notice how that's not a part of the swing states anymore. I mean, they got 9 million votes counted in not but a couple of hours. 13.1%. Now, we hear the DeSimps, and they're going to be vocal, especially leading into 2028, because I think he's, just as out of touch as a lot of people out there when it comes to his political viability. It's about in the same category as I'd put Kamala at this point in time. Fantastic governor. You shot yourself in the foot by going against the future of republicanism. Oh, he won the state by 22 points. Yeah, that's cool, man. Who put you in that position to begin with? And what was the voter turnout like on that one? How many vote blue no matter who's came out at the midterm? Nowhere near as close. Bro, we can sit here and take a look at the numbers until we are blue in the face and realize that Kamala Harris was not just an inferior candidate for 2024. She is arguably the worst presidential candidate of all time. And yes, I'm lumping her in the same category as Dukakis, McGovern, and Mondale. She got beat like a drum. Tim Walz, I always consider him to be the worst vice presidential candidate of all time. Not qualified at all whatsoever. He was there to carry a state that you were going to win regardless. Like, bro, and you just about lost it. There were some people, taking a look at that, and it was shaded red for parts of the night. Absolutely wild. He was worthless. So much of a liability that it also lends to another conspiracy theory up there with, the Bidens were trying to tank it for Kamala. That the Democrats were assembling a ticket that they could just throw away to get through the Trump years and then just reconvene around 2028. Okay, they installed their puppet in 2020 because they thought we just can't have it. We can't have consecutive Trump terms. We just can't have it. We need to get him out of here. He's going to expose too much. But in reality, wronged the man who does not quit. As Dana White put it, he doesn't quit. This is karma. This is absolutely karma, because this could have been the end of Trump. I can't believe I'm saying that, but that would have been the case. If he would have won in 2020, we would be in the twilight. We would be in the lame duck period of the Donald Trump presidency. Let that sink in for a second. Okay? Let that sink in when he would have had Mike Pence as a VP, when he would have had Mike Pompeo as his Secretary of State, when he would have had a revolving door of people coming in, doing a poor job, getting fired by Trump, and then writing a book about how awful he was. Instead of having this team that he's surrounding himself with right now, instead of assembling a team that made a blue exodus a reality, a red wave, looking for those red waves in those midterms when Trump wasn't on the ballot, taking a look at that red wave that showed up when there wasn't mass mail-in voter fraud, taking a look at that red wave that is there for the last time that people had the opportunity to vote for a candidate that they were emboldened to support now, to take a vote, to show out to a poll for somebody who has their back, to take their final opportunity to do the one thing that the Biden campaign said they were going to do, like many of their other promises, but failed to deliver on. A lot of people went out, a lot of conservatives, a lot of common sense individuals went out to make America great again. And in contrast to that, and as a consequence of this, make the world great again. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone, and God bless America.